So, LGBTQ plus, ang title nito kasi sa ating, what do you call this one? Syllabus, LGBTQ and intersexuality. So, we have already discussed what intersexuality is, right? It's the presence of both male and female characteristics sa isang tao. So, mayroon siyang dalawang sex organs, the vagina and the penis. And in the end, he or she has to choose which of these two is more dominant to sa kanyang personality, right? And then the next one is, the next slide, number 3, is for your GC attendance. So, group chat attendance nyo during class hours. So, this is just a review of your, what I always stress out. Kasi right now, guys, the terminologies or the definitions that we're going to deal with are very sensitive. Okay? So, I would like to promote further the information or the concept that I asked you to practice on your gender and society lessons, that is avoiding negative attitude and promoting open-mindedness with positive attitude towards the LGBTQ community. So, if you were going to comment on Facebook on this picture of this little boy, what would be your comment? Avoiding negative attitude and promoting open-mindedness with positive attitude towards the LGBTQ community. So, post your comment on our GC with this picture. Example, nakita nyo na po, Villanueva HCI, 2A, and then the picture, and then under the picture, I want you to post your comment like this example I gave here. Go Junjun, don't forget the blush on. And then there's supposed to be a smile emoji there, but I don't know bakit nawala. But there's a smile or a heart emoji. Pwede nyo naman gawin. Okay? So, I'm expecting that within the class hours. If not, kasi I'm expecting everybody to be watching the YouTube lecture now. Kasi hindi pwedeng maging aware kayo. Kumbaga, I want everybody to be aware. Kasi ito po, nire-record ko na nga lang po ang inyong lesson, and then, so you don't have to cram, or hindi kayo mag-cramming pagdating ng, kung live po tayo, mahirapan po kayo. You can't even play back the important terms or the important things that I'm going to say. At least, dito po sa YouTube, mas madali po ninyong ma-share or mabalikan or mapaulit-ulit yung lecture in case na meron kayong ma-miss, right? So, GC po, attendance class hours, except for working students. Huwag po kayo mahihiya. Working students, don't PM me your GC attendance. Dun po, kahit late po. Okay? Huwag pong mahihiya na late kayo. It's better to be late than to get 0. Okay? So, let's start with the first terminology. So, here in our vocabulary, sorry. Let me discuss this first. Kasi before we start with the terminologies. This discussion pala on the YouTube comment section, I want you to post your name and your section, that's 5 points, plus a question. Okay? Pag in case na hindi nyo po naiintindihan yung important terms and definition of terms, pwede po kayong mag-post ng question. That's additional 5 points. Ngayon, if you don't have any questions, I want you to give an additional information about the things that I've discussed here. One of those terminologies na meron kayong idadagdag na information. So, it should be, the information could be a concept ng in your generation. Kumbaga, hindi ko siya ma-explain sa generation nyo, may dagdag kayong naalaman. For example, sa terminology na advocate, it's a person who actively works to end intolerance, educate others, and support social equity for the marginalized group of the LGBT. So, pero pag advocate ka kasi, not just LGBT, okay? Parang meron kang advocacy ang pinaglalaban. But this one, we're sticking with the LGBT topic. So, sila yung mga advocate na nagpo-promote ng LGBTQ na marginalized group. So, pag sinabi mong marginalized group, they are just a specific group of people na iba or konti lang sila compared po sa majority. Now, they advocate, halimbawa, nagbigay kayo ng for the comment section of YouTube, like Vice Ganda is an example of an advocate for the LGBTQ community. That's your statement. Ngayon, if you don't have, now, if you have a question naman, dahil hindi mo naintindihan kung ano yung salitang advocate, then pose the question. Ma'am, can you elaborate further kung ano pong ibig sabihin ng advocate? Ano po ba mga example ng mga advocacy niya? So, you can post that question for another 5 points. So, maximum of 10 points na po, either question, name, either question or statement that you want to share or additional information that you want to share with everybody para medyo mabuhayan naman yung YouTube comment section natin. Okay? So, most important din po is for you to take out your notebook right now and take down notes of the 40 important terms that we need to remember. So, kahit po may 30 lang kayo dyan, it's fine with me. But if you could complete the 40, actually 41 pong i-mention or 42 kasi maliban po sa naka-attach dito, I will be mentioning some correlated terminologies on that same aspect. Okay? So, 30, makapag-jot down kayo ng 30 important terminologies discussed would be fine with me. Okay? So, right now, we are, teka lang, tinitingnan ko pa yung announcements. Okay na. Okay, we're good. Now, we're starting off, kasi alphabetical po ito. In the notes that I forwarded to you, you can print it out and then just highlight the terms that we have talked about or being discussed here. Pwede nyo rin pong gawin yon. At the same time po, pwede nyo rin sundan na lang ito. Wait lang po, magte-take down notes lang. 30 points or 30 terminologies plus, ano nga ba yung kasasabi ko lang? Kasi I was modifying something in my instruction. I forgot about it. Okay. Now, enough. Now, advocate is a person who actively works to end intolerance, educate others, and support social equity for marginalized groups. So, tayo po, those people, if you are aware, meron po kasi sa MPC ng Gender and Development na office. So, MPC is an advocate to end intolerance and educate others about the LGBT community or equality of men and women in the workplace. So, yun po, advocacy. Pinaglalaban din po ng MPC yan because it's also a mandate from our government who is also advocating the tolerance, the education, and the support for our LGBT community. Now, the first term that we are going to discuss about the members of the LGBT community is the term androsexual. Okay, when you say androsexual, it's an attraction to men, to the male gender, or to traditional masculinity. Kumbaga, na-attract ka lang sa anything that is macho, muscular, or lalaki. Lalaking-lalaki. Okay? So, hindi po kailangang lalaki ang magiging sex ng isang tao para to be considered androsexual or attraction sa kanila. Maaari ka ring ma-attract sa isang babae na linalaki ang pagkikilos or boyish kumilos because you are attracted to somebody of the male character or male characteristic. Kahit babae pa siya, pero lalaki siyang kung kumilos. Sometimes you are even attracted to, itong pangalawa naman po, if you are attracted to people like, kumbaga, ay Thor, di ba? Ganyan, yung mga lalaking-lalaki talaga. Maskulado, macho, di ba? Some girls or some men or some women can also consider androsexuality as attraction to somebody like on the third person, which is like rugged looking. Para nakikita mo, ay, lalaking-lalaki to. Bruskong-brusko. So, rugged. Diba? Ang babae, opposite niyan. Mahinhin. pinong kumilos. So, hindi ba barumbado. Okay. And the third one might be, for example, baka ano siya, magaling siyang mag-rap. Magaling siyang, I'm just stereotyping the type of hair kasi. So, you might be, there must be some characteristics na lalaking-lalaki sa fourth picture na yan. Some men and women are attracted to black skin or dark skin, right? So, baka yun ang naka-attract sa kanila. Kasi nga daw, more dominant po sa lalaki ang moreno or dark skin. Okay? So, it indicates masculinity then. Then, the next terminology would be asexual. Okay? The short term for this word is ACE. A-C-E, Alpha, Charlie, Echo. So, sexual ang tawag po sa mga tao who lacks sexual attraction or low or absent of interest or desire for sexual activity. So, wala po siyang pakialam. Hindi niya po iniintindi ang love life. Is not even attracted to the opposite sex, much more to the same sex. Parang wala siyang, iba yung interest niya sa buhay. Like some others, some of you are like, dahil nauso na ngayon ang di ba, online games. So, wala na kayong panahon. If some children don't have, some teenagers don't have sexual relationship or romantic attraction to the opposite sex because they don't have mas gusto nilang i-google yung kanilang panahon for games and having, they're having the good time in their life. Enough na sa kanila yung games. Wala, hayaan mo yung shota na yan. Ayoko mag-shota. Mas masaya akong mag-online games. Diba? Some of the teenagers ay ganon. May iba naman po yung parang nerd na ang dating. Kasi, nagiging nerd na kasi they love books and their attention is only on the books or what they are reading. So, this asexual person, hindi naman ibig sabihin po kasi dito sabi, di ba, absence. Meron absence ng sexual desire or for sexual activity. Meron din pong low. Okay? Yung low, ibig sabihin, meron siyang konti. Okay? But, the sexual attraction only happens under specific conditions. Parang hard to turn on sila. Okay? So, meron silang fetishness. Ang tinatawag na fetish kasi, yung trip nila ba? What turns them on? Okay? There's only some specific situation that turns them on. Pag sinabi nating fetish, it's spelled as F-E-T-T-I-S-H. Fetish means F-E-T-T-I-S-H. Yun pong spelling po ng fetish. Ito yung some things that turns you on automatically. Pero occasionally lang, pero sa mga asexual people. So, these asexual people, hindi po sila impotent. Okay, mind you, they are not impotent. They, normal po ang kanilang erection for the male. And also for women also, meron din silang clitoral erection. So, meron po silang, hindi po ibig sabihin na wala po impotent po sila na hindi nila kayang makipag-sex. It's just that they don't like it or they lack that certain sexual attraction. So, the next terminology, hindi po ito kasama sa mga tinatawag nila, but it's part of the vocabulary or definition. So, definition of terms. Your biological sex, which we already discussed on the male and female genders, right? So, meron po tayong basic na male and female biological sex, which is already determined during our birth, right? Sabi nga nila, God made Adam and Eve, and babae at lalaki lang po ang binuo ng Diyos. And sometimes, there are some hormonal and chromosomal differences or abnormalities, nagkakaroon po ng combination of both sexes in the intersex person. So, this biological term, it's our specific or the sex assigned are at birth. Okay? Now, butch. Etong butch po na term, Ito po yung isang, kung minsan na pagkakamalan natin sa terminology na tomboy. In our local dialect, we call it tomboy. Okay? But actually, being a butch is different from being a tomboy. Ang tomboy kasi medyo slight lang daw po yan ng pagiging boyish. Like for example, makukonect siya sa being athletic of a woman. Kasi sa pagiging lesbian ng isang tao, lesbian is the relationship between two women, right? So, kung minsan, meron kang makikita in this relationship, meron pong butch at merong femme. Ano po yung femme? F-E-M-M-E. Yan po ang tinatawag femme or feminine. Sa isang relationship, merong babae na nag-act as the dominant or the masculine part of a traditional relationship. Meron din namang babae dun sa relationship na yun. Ganon din naman sa homosexuality with men, right? Sa men, sometimes we can see na pareho silang dominant, di ba? Or sometimes, somebody takes the role of the husband and somebody takes the role of the wife dun po sa men-to-men relationship. Pero dito po sa women-to-women relationship, ito pong pinag-uusapan natin, the lesbians. The butch is actually the more intense na terminology for a tomboy. Okay? When you say tomboy kasi, sometimes it's just a phase, kasi sabi po ng isang study, being tomboyish is just a phase po ng isang cycle ng isang babae. So there comes a time, especially daw po during the adolescent or puberty stage, wherein nung mga 17th or 15th to 17th century kasi, pag ang babae kasi ini-expect nila na very mahinhin, you don't ride horses, bawal ka nga yung sumakay sa kabayo na feet apart or legs apart tulad po ng isang lalaki. Ang babae po dati pag umupo ng kabayo ay naka side view. And then women should only wear dresses. Pero nung time ng 15th to 17th century wherein there is a revolution on the dress code as well as ang mga babae natututo ng wag nang maging enclosed lang sa kanilang personality. Yung gusto nang lumaya ng mga babae and women and being a feminist, kumbaga feminism nung time na yun, parang ina-advocate na. So, lahat ng mga babae at that time, kapag sila ay kumilos lalaki or magsuot ng damit na panlalaki, they are considered tomboys. Okay? So, it's a term coined for the boyish clothes and boyish mannerisms or manners that you are moving as a lady. Hindi ka na lady. Tomboy ang tawag sa inyo. Pero usually daw, being tomboyish is just a phase. Nawawala din yan balang araw. Kumbaga, after kasi parang pre-promote din nila yan in the 18th century and 19th century. Parang pre-promote yung being a tomboy kasi parang nagiging athletic ang mga babae. So, parang ganun lang yung tawag doon. But butch is actually more deeper. So, kumbaga, ang tomboy is just like 50% boyish. Butch is babae ka na gusto mo talagang ma-act and to be acknowledged as a man. So, a person who identifies themselves as masculine, whether it be physically, mentally, or emotionally, butch po ang tawag sa kanila. So, sometimes it's used as a derogatory term for lesbians. Parang insulto daw. Kasi, di ba, tinawagan, tomboy. Di ba? Parang pag tinitis ka ng mga kalaro mo, ay, tomboy ka. Or na makakilala mo. Parang yun nga. Sa ating term kasi hindi naman natin ginagamit ang butch. Pero in the US, they use the term butch. Okay? So, kung medyo may question pa, I might miss some information, then just post it on the comment section of YouTube. Now, next term would be, next term would be coming out. Okay? Coming out. Alam naman natin to, di ba? Kasi nga daw sabi ay closet queens daw ang karamihan ng mga kumbaga parang kailan ka umamin o kailan ka nagladlad. That's the term for coming out, right? So the process in which one accepts or comes to identify one's own sexuality or gender identity. Or gender identity. So medyo mahirap po tong coming out for some. For iba, okay naman kasi they have very supportive parents. But there are situations or community na supportive sa kanila. But there are some situations that coming out could be very hard for someone because minsan nahihirapan tayong umamin kung ano talaga ang ating sexuality because we're afraid to be judged, right? Or if it's safe. Halimbawa, safe bang aminin ko to sa parents ko and tatay ko military, baka mabugbog lang ako, delikado yung aking health and safety, right? So, or tulad po sa kantang This Guy's in Love with You Pare, right? Diba? If you're aware of that song, nahihirapan po yung lalaking aminin na meron siyang feeling sa kanyang best friend, right? So, but it's a fun song, right? Natatawa ko sa song ngayon. So, I hope na hindi po ganun ang case sa iba sa inyo. I hope that coming out is not an issue. Okay? Kasi yun yan, sometimes nabubuli po, right? Dahil afraid po tayo sa consequences na magiging bunga ng coming out natin. Then next one is cross-dresser. Someone who wears clothes of another gender or sex. Tandaan nyo guys, if you're a cross-dresser, isa pang terms for a cross-dresser is transvestite. Okay? Hindi kailangang ikaw ay transgender or transsexual. Minsan, ang pagko-cross-gender cross-dresser is just trip lang. Okay? So, some men or women are not really gay. Hindi talaga sila, kumbaga, hindi talaga bakla. But we know for sure that Paulo Ballesteros, kasi inaamin niya naman, and he's also in a relationship with a man. So, kahit hindi, he's a cross-dresser. Sometimes he impersonates Marilyn Monroe as a woman, right? So, pero may ibang lalaki po, tulad sa picture dito, they don't give up their masculinity or their gender. Nagde-dress lang sila. Lalo na yung blonde dyan sa picture na yan. I know he's a famous American actor, but I cannot quite put his name on it. Lalaki siya. So, they just trip lang nila. Or, it's required to be done. Like, ano nga ba yung isang, Mrs. Robinson yata, yung kay Robin Williams na nagpanggap siyang babae para makasama niya yung kanyang mga anak na kumbaga naghiwalay sila ng wife niya, nag-divorce sila, and he was not permitted to see his children whom he loves very much. So what he did is nag-apply as yaya pero nag-cross-dress siya. Kumbaga nagsuot siya ng pambabae, nag-makeup siya, nag-wear siya ng wig just to be near his children. So isa po yung example of cross-dressing. Now, next one is drag king and drag queen. Sorry, I have to drag again Paulo Ballesteros on this one because it's the best example of performing femininity and masculinity theatrically. Kumbaga, parang exaggerated na movement ng babae, exaggerated na masculinity ng lalaki. So whatever, pero usually women, drag queen siya kasi he is performing femininity theatrically. Baga babae ang nire-represent niya most of the time. So, a drag king is like, alam naman nating babae siya, or binabae, like, mga lalaki na nagpapakita ng pagiging lalaki, kunyari, kumbaga, they dressed theatrically, makulay ang mga suot, yan, mga drag king po yan sila. Not drag, not D-R-U-G, okay? So, hindi po sila drag king, but they are drag king. Okay, next one is female to male transgender or transsexual person, and then male to female transgender or transsexual person. Bakit po magkaiba ang transgender and transsexual? Remember guys, being transsexual, you already have a sex change or hormonal change. Yung kumbaga, yung iyong sex assigned at birth has been modified either by surgery or by drugs. Okay? Or medicines. If you're just a transgender, ang transgender po ay ang emphasis dito ay yung iyong pagkilos, pag-uugali, which is the opposite of your birth, assigned at birth, sex assigned by birth. So, if halimbawa, lalaki ka, and then, ikaw yung nagfulfill ng role ng babae sa community, like for example, nagbibihis babae ka, gawaing babaeng ginagawa mo, you talk like a woman, that's transgender. Pero pag transsexual, inalter mo na yung iyong body parts. Okay? To suit the opposite gender. Okay? So, may ibang mga tao na from male, ito yung terminology, FTM, F2M, MTF, M2F. So, yan pang tawag sa kanila. Female to male, and male to female. Okay, next one is gay. Gay people are individuals who are primarily emotionally, physically, and or sexually attracted to the members of the same sex or gender. So, mostly kasi, this term gay is commonly used when referring to men who are attracted to other men. Pero do you know that it is also or can be applied to women as well? So, kung gay ka, it's an umbrella term used to refer to the queer community as a whole. Pero, it's anybody who does not identify as heterosexual. So, ano po ba yung heterosexual? It means being attracted to the opposite sex. Ito yung sinasabi nating sila yung yung heterosexual, they are attracted to the opposite sex or combination of in a relationship man and woman. Pero kapag homosexual ka, homosexual is you're having attraction to the same sex, like man to man, woman to woman. Pag homosexual ka. Kasi kahit babae guys, pwede tawaging homosexual. Okay? So, anyone who does not identify as heterosexual, they are gay people. Gay is actually a word that has different meanings throughout time. Iba-iba po ang meaning niya noon. On the 12th century, being gay means being happy. So, 17th century naman, parang ginamit siya nung 1700s. Ginamit siya as a term for being immoral. Kumbaga, immoral ka because you are describing a loose and pleasure-seeking person. Kapag, parang gay ka kasi, kumbaga, parang masayahin ka, so you don't care kung ano pong nangyayari, even if na anong sabihin ng ibang tao, as long as you're happy. Pero yung time na to, very strict pa ang standards of being a man and woman. Hindi pa ganun ka-open-minded ng mga tao. So, tinatawag nila yung mga ganito na immoral. And then, by the 19th century, it meant 19th century, like mga 1800 to the 19th century. So, ang tawag naman po dito sa gay is a person who is having sex with a gay woman. Ang gay woman po, ang tawag dito ay mga prostitutes. Okay? So, yung gay woman, tawag dyan ay mga prostitutes kasi mga immoral sila. Loose ang kanilang mga morals. Because they want to have sex with, they don't care if they have sex with a lot of men. So, ang tawag naman sa taong pumapatol sa gay woman is a gay man. Parang ganon. So, magkaiba-iba. So, it wasn't until the 20th century that it started to mean what it means today. Okay? So, parang gay is like masayahin, di ba? It went back to the original terminology, gay meaning happy. Pero it does not just limit, remember, being gay does not limit to men only. May mga babae din pong gay. Okay? If the term means happy. Okay? parang exage lang ng happiness ang pinapakita. That's why gay. Men are gay. These men are gay or these boys are gay. Masayahin. Diba? They don't care. Frivolous. Diba? Next term is gender fluid. When you're gender fluid, it is the best described as a dynamic mixture of being a boy and a girl. So sometimes, parang kilala ko tong artista na to. I just forgot which film that I saw her on Netflix. Basta siya, usually bodyguard siya yung last time na napanood ko. But, this person is gender fluid kasi most of the days, he can adapt the male or masculinity or practice being a man. And then, some days, she would also be a woman. So, these are times na pwede kang mag-shift from being a man to being a woman anytime that you would like to. Pwede kang maging mahabang buhok, pwede kang maikli ang buhok, pwede kang wear tomboyish clothes and then next time makikita mo sexy yung gown. So, gender fluid po ang tawag dun sa mga taong yon. Now, gender identity is the internal perception of one's gender and how they label themselves based on how much they align or don't align with what they understand their options for gender. Gender po yung last term. So, we already mentioned this one, right? Ano yung pagkakakilala mo sa iyong sarili? Your internal perception. Kung mag-align man yan o hindi, wala kang pakialam. Basta ito yung pagkakakilala mo sa iyong sarili. Next one is gender non-conforming. Ito yung gender expression descriptor that indicates a non-traditional presentation. Masculine man or feminine woman. So, wala kang pakialam kung anong klaseng gender meron ka. If you're aware of sinon po ba yun? Yung lalaking masculine, pero binabae ang kanyang galaw. So, masculine ang face, masculine ang katawan, pero pakembutin mo at palakarin mo ng high heels, woman na woman siya. So, meron din pong mga feminine man. Nakita mo, ako, makikita ko dito yung mother ko. She can do carpentry works. So, makikita mo, sexy nanay ko, feminine siya. Pero, she can perform tasks assigned to a man. And, nung mga bata pa kami noon, bilib na bilib ako, kala ko superwoman nanay ko. Because, she knows how to chop wood. Kasi sa probinsya, di ba, kahoy yung ginagamit. And then, she knows how to do carpentry. Siya lang yung gumagawa ng mga shelf namin. Naglalagari, nagme-measure. She's very good in carpentry. And then one time, may time din na it's acting like a man. Okay, it might be because out of necessity, I don't know, pero alam ko may talent din ng nanay ko sa carpentry because I was raised we were raised single-handedly by our mom. Single parent po siya. So wala po siyang aasahan lalaki and sa buhay. And so maybe that's why napilitan siyang gumawa nun, but she was good at it. She's good at it until now. Kahit she's already 69 years old, pero nagkakarpintero pang nanay ko, ha. Yung bahay niya, siya ang nagsisimento. Hindi naman simento, extension talaga yun. Kumbaga parang siya yung, kung may kailangang simentuhin, marunong mag-mix yan. May part na hindi na finish yan, she can do the finishing of the wall. So, feminine man is an example po yan. Okay? So, gender normative or gender straight. This is someone whose gender presentation, whether by nature or by choice, aligns with whatever society-based expectation. Kumbaga, normal, ang tawag natin sa kanila, normal to sa pagpapractice ng kanyang gender. Straight pala to, kasi what the person is doing or is what aligns with what the society expects of him or her. Tulad po ng assignment nyo last time, I asked you if you have a nephew and a niece. Kung kayo may pamangkin na 5 years old, babae at lalaki, what toys would you give them? Usually kasi tayo ang nag-feed. We are part of the society of those children developing into their own gender presentation or they're building their gender identity. Part po tayo dun. Whether we like it or not, society is giving them choices. Kasi some of you indicates na bibigyan nyo kasi ito yung pang girl. Bibigyan nyo yung boy ng ganitong toy kasi pang boy. Tulad yan, lalaki bibigyan ng airplane, babae bibigyan ng doll. But a few, may iba po sa inyo. na binibigyan ng gender-neutral toys ang inyong mga pamangkin. Kasi they should be, and then very good ang explanation ng iba, kung hindi sa section nyo, sa ibang section. But, nabasa ko po dun, I want the choice to be theirs. Ayokong magkaroon ng impluensya sa magiging choice niyang gender identity in the future. That's a nice answer, okay? Gender neutral. May iba naman na tuturuan. Hindi ko naman minamasama, no? It's not a wrong answer. If you choose to guide your niece or your nephew sa tamang expectation ng society. I mean, I'm not saying tama, but what society is expecting of them. Ayaw nyo sila kasi balang araw na mabuli, ayaw nyo sila balang araw na pagtawanan. That's why you are guiding them to develop as what society expects them to, right? Now, heteronormativity. Okay, heteronormativity. Only relationship with the other sex is normal para sa kanila. So, the assumption in individuals or institutions that everybody is heterosexual and heterosexuality is superior of all sexualities. Parang yun lang ang normal doon sa kanila. Kung tutuusin, heterosexual relationships are, kung based on majority, mas majority po ang heterosexual relationships. I have friends. Yeah, I have friends, but I haven't met yet ng dalawang, meron na pala nung nasa call center na yung relationship ng friend ko ay with, they are living together, homosexual, gays, mga lalaki, men-to-men relationship. Meron pala. Okay. But, kumbaga, 10, siguro sa 10. I don't know. In my lifetime, I'm 40 plus already. Parang bihira kong nakikita na merong, maliban sa mga TV, YouTube, yung personal ko talagang buhay, that he is influenced by homosexual relationships. Most of the friends I have, they have heterosexual relationships. Okay? So, siguro naman, kaya parang kinukonsider natin kakaiba when we see homosexual relationships. Right? Male to male, female to female. Parang kakaiba sa atin kapag nakikita natin. And that is like our presumption of heteronormativity. It's out of the normal kasi para sa atin kung makakita tayo ng homosexual relationship. We only believe what is normal is only heterosexual relationships. Parang ganun yung nagiging assumption. Now, hermaphrodite is the medical term used for someone who was born with some combination of typically male and female sex characteristics. Another term for what? Hermaphrodite is another term for intersex people. Okay? If you can see on the photo, the person has a penis, but also the characteristics of the large breast of a woman. Hermaphrodite or intersex. Heterosexual, mentioned already in the heteronormativity. So, heterosexual person is a person primarily emotionally, physically, and or sexually attracted to the members of the opposite sex. Now, I'd like to discuss more on this term, homophobia. An umbrella term for a range of negative attitudes towards the members of the LGBTQ community. Sorry, but ang homophobia po kasi minsan is anger or anything negative. The negative attitudes that we have towards the members of the LGBT community. It's your example of those negative attitudes, fear. Okay, takot. And do you know, guys, that being homophobic, ang isa sa mga kinakatakutan ng mga homophobic people is mapagkamalan silang bakla. Okay? So, when a person is being called, kumbaga ayaw niyang tawagin siyang bakla, kaya pinipilit niya na maging lalaki, kaya iniiwasan niya to act out as a female or magpakababae minsan kasi takot siyang tawagin siyang bakla, di ba? Especially po sa mga barkada. Sa mga barkada ng mga lalaki, then napatili ka, or wait lang ha. Sir, ano naman siya? Please don't. Baka mamaya ay nawala na ang aking video. Wait lang. Homophobic. Okay, going back to the lesson. If you are homophobic, nandun yung fear mo, natatakot ka sa bakla. Or pwede rin, natatakot ka maging bakla. Okay? That's the fear. Maring natatakot ka rin sa bakla. Like, for example, you don't consider it safe to be, what do we call this one? To be with a gay person kasi natatakot kang ma-rape. Halimbawa ng isang bakla. It can be a valid reason too. Okay? So, yun. Okay. Hawakan ko na lang po. So, this term can also connote fear, disgust, or dislike as being perceived as LGBTQ. Kumbaga natatakot ka rin matawag na isang bakla or LGBTQ. Now, homophobic is also like discomfort around gay people or homosexual people. Okay? So, homophobia. Next. What's the next term? It's off. Post ko muna, guys. Okay. Now, homophobia. Nandun na tayo. Sorry for that one. Kasi lagi nag-i-screen off. I hope na hindi rin nagba-blackout sa inyong screen whenever I have a screen off. Already. Saan na ba tayo? Okay, homophobia. Natapos na natin to. Next one. Intersex, term for combination of chromosomes, gonads, hormones, internal sex organs, and genitals from the two expected patterns of male and female sex, right? Saan na ba yun? Sorry for that. Intersex. I'm looking at my notes, sorry. Okay, two expected patterns of male or female. Okay? So, also formerly known as hermaphrodite. But those terms are now outdated and derogatory. So, pinalitan po ng scientific term which is intersex. Next one is lesbians. So, lesbians are women who are attracted romantically, erotically, and or emotionally to some other women. And like I mentioned before, lesbian, nung nandun tayo sa butch, lesbians could be categorized as butch and femme. Okay? When you say butch, naglinalaki or masculine ang kanilang ways, and femme is very female or feminine ang kanilang characteristic. Tulad na nasa picture, right? Kapag nakikita mo yung isang babae sexy but you'll never know na isa pala siyang lesbian kasi she is very feminine when she with the way she carries herself. But she is romantically, erotically, and emotionally involved with some women. Lesbian pong tawag doon. Next one is LGBTQ. Let me check. Good. LGBTQ. GSM, DSG, parang mga umbrella term to for non-conformative or queer gender or sexuality. Tawag sa mga taong hindi nakakategorize with male or female or intersex. So, sila yung third gender. Next term is GSM. Gender and Sexual Minorities. Pwede rin tawagin. Pwede rin LGBTQ. Lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer, or questioning. Pwede rin po. Ang Q. Questioning sila yung hindi pa sure kung ano yung kanilang gender. And then, ang isa ay DSG, Diverse Sexualities and Gender. Diverse Sexuality and Genders. Okay. So, meron pa nga iba, Iba yung spelling nila ng acronym ng LGBT. They use like GLBT or quilt bag. Quilt bag is queer or questioning, unexpected, intersex, lesbian, transsexual, bisexual, asexual, or allied, and gay or gender queer. Ang haba, di ba, ang quilt bag? Kaya hindi ko na in-include eh. Quilt bag, if you spell it QUILT-BAG, hindi ko po nilagay din dito. Queer for questioning, Q for queer or questioning, U for undecided, I intersex, L lesbian, T transsexual or transgender, B is for bisexual, A asexual or allied, kakampi, and G for gay or genderqueer. So there is no correct initialism or acronym. Depende po yan kung ano pong preferred use by the person or region, or it often evolves through time. So dati LGBT lang. Then later naging LGBTQ. Then later naging LGBTQIA. And then later on they became LGBTQIA+++. Kasi mas marami pa pala. So remember, those terminologies, hindi lang po yan inimbento, pinag-aralan po yan ng mga sociologists before they coined each term for the members of the LGBT community. Next one is metrosexual. Metrosexual is a man who spends more time, energy, and money on his appearance and grooming. Sa babae, normal lang yan. We spend time, energy, and money on our appearance. Nagpapakulot, nagpapamakeup. Pag nagbihis, kailangan mas mauna ako magbihis kaysa sa mister ko. Because, like when we go to church on Sundays, it takes me more than 30 minutes or 1 hour bago po makapagbihis or makapag-ayos. Ang husband ko, it takes him only like 10 minutes para magpalit ng damit. Maligo at magpalit ng damit. Tayo hindi, right? So, metrosexual are men who are vain. Yun pala, vain ang term doon. Balidoso, kumbaga. Kasi they put energy and time on how they look like. Like Bovong Navarro. Hindi niya naman dinideny, di ba? Nagpag-glutathione siya and then it takes a long time for him to choose what he wants to wear. Pero straight siya, lalaki siya. So, ang tawag po dun ay metrosexual. So, MSM or WSW, men sex with men, women sex with women. So, these are kahit ano lang this one is distinguishing sexual behaviors. Hindi naman sa sexual identities. Sexual behavior lang. So, even if you're a straight guy, pwede pa yun? Ito yung sinasabi kasi sa definition eh. Because a man is straight, it doesn't mean he's not having sex with men. Di ba kapag ikaw ay nagkaroon ng sexual, di ba yung denial? I don't know That's for my opinion. Kasi unless you are homosexual or bisexual, you can have sex with another man, right? I don't know. But dito kasi ang MSM and WSW just means merely sex. Okay? It doesn't include being romantically or being in love with kapwa lalaki. Sex lang. Plain sex lang. I think that only exists in pocket books. I don't know. Okay, ito naman iba. Pansexual. It's a person who experiences sexual, romantic, physical, and spiritual attraction to members of all gender identities and expressions. Sila yung for short, ang tawag dito, PAN. P-A-N. Papa, Alpha, and what's N? November. PAN. PAN ang shortcut. Diba sa asexual, ang shortcut niya ay ACE. Alpha, Charlie, Echo. And, being a pansexual, you are attracted to all members of gender identities and expressions. Wala kang pakialam. Iba nga yung nagdo-joke nit about this one, saying that kahit poste papaldahan mo or padamitan mo, mai-inlove ang isang pansexual person. But that's just only a joke part. Okay? So, pansexual Ayun, yung gusto ko pa pala bigyan emphasis is spiritual attraction. It's like being soulmates, okay? Soulmates. So, that's your attraction. Your connection with that other person. Next is polyamor or polyamorous individuals who have non-monogamous relationships. They have multiple partners. So, polyamorous refers to the practice of, to the desire to, or orientation towards having honest and consensual non-monogamous relationships. Kumbaga, open sila ng relationship nila ay they are including multiple partners. Ibang kasing open-minded about this one, but most of the people for having multiple relationships hindi open sa isa't isa, right? Kasi bihira ang taong would agree to share you with somebody else. Correct? So, they have multiple partners. Ito yung minsan sinasabi natin, threesome, foursome, yan. Kasi, may consent po yun of having sex with multiple partners. So, nakakapag-participate siya having sex with maraming partners and the partners also consent about it. Queer. They are individuals who don't identify as straight. Balik muna tayo sa polyamor or polyamorous relationship. This may include open relationships, polyfidelity, which involves more than two people being in romantic or sexual relationship, and marami pong setups. Yun nga, mention ko po, threesome, foursome, or I don't know. It can be open or not open to the additional partners. Or pwede rin tayo sa isa. Today, Monday, kay Aida ka. Tuesday, kay Lorna. Wednesday, kay Fe. Okay. So, pwede rin hindi mo sila sabay-sabay. Pero, you are in a relationship. With multiple partners. Next one is queer, per individuals who don't identify as straight. Parang, queer or medyo ginagamit nating, sila yung hindi pa nila na-identify kung saan sila sa LGBTQ community. So, it's best to describe people with non-normative gender identity. Medyo ginagamit ngayon questioning, parang pinalitan ng questioning. So, if a person is not comfortable na tawagin yung queer, please respect that individual's preference. Kasi, pwede nyo na po gamitin questioning. That person is questioning. Because some people feel uncomfortable with the word na queer. Parang feeling nila weird, di ba? So, it can be an individual who in time when someone is unsure about exploring their own sexual orientation or gender identity. So, queer or questioning sa Q. Next one is sex assigned at birth, Saab. I think Saab is a name for one of Francis M's daughters, di ba? Tama. So, sex assigned at birth is an abbreviation used to intentionally recognize a person's assigned sex. Not gender identity, ha? Iba po yung gender activity. Or designated sex at birth. It could also be DSAB. Designated sex at birth. Or, pwede ring SCAB. Sex coercedly assigned at birth. AMAB and AFAB. Hayaan nyo na yan. But, remember, sex assigned at birth, SAB. Sexual attraction. Naku, ito very controversial. When I was like having classes pa face-to-face, grabe mga reaction ng mga students, and I think some of you also have. Some of you are not even permitted to watch porn, right? Hindi pa legal. But some of you, kasi, you're already not minors na rin. Tulad ko, wala akong magagawa if my two college boys wants to watch porn. Although they're not very open about it. Kumbaga, alam ko, nanonood sila, but I don't do anything about it kasi they're already adults. And they know already what's their limit naman. So, sexual attraction is the capacity that evokes the want to engage in physical intimate behavior experience in varying degrees. What are those intimate behaviors? Okay? Those physical intimate behaviors includes kissing, touching, and ultimately intercourse. So, it's often experienced with varying degrees, from little to none to intense. So, sa kissing, meron pong light pick ng cheek, kiss sa noo, kiss sa nose. Those are very little or none sa degree ng intensity, right? Sa touching, you're starting with the little or none to intense, from holding hands to groping to necking to petting, di ba? No, if for those who don't understand necking and petting, necking is kissing face and neck. Ang petting po ay touching the intimate parts like the breast, the vagina, or the penis. That's touching. And then intercourse is the sexual act itself, wherein the penis penetrates the vagina. Okay? So, this sexual attraction can lead ultimately to intercourse. Diba yung sinasabi nga nila, mapadikit lang ng konti ang skin, naku, nakakaramdam na ng spark or kuryente or electricity. So, that's sexual attraction. So, mabilis kang ma-turn on sa isang babae or isang lalaki. That is sexual attraction. And if you have like ideas of having sex with a certain person or intercourse, that's already sexual attraction. Next one is social orientation, which is oftentimes confused with sexual reference. So, I'm going to discuss them both ng isa lang. So, the types of sexual intercourse, sexual stimulation, and gratification that one likes to receive and participate in is called sexual preference. So, sexual preference, if you can notice here, meron pong 0. That's your sexual preference. You are asexual. Ayaw mong makipag-sex. Kahit kanino. Then, you can also be attracted to men, and then, or you can be attracted only to women. Or you can be, on the fourth picture, attracted both to men and women. Or you can have like, I don't know how to interpret that one. Meron ding pang tatluhan. Meron ding one person in love with 2 males and 1 female. So, that's your sexual preference. Whatever makes you attracted, or it creates the illusion that one has a choice or preference. Kumbaga, choice mo. Now, sexual orientation, medyo nagkakagulo po dyan kung minsan, because ang sexual orientation is how you understand yourself. Pero pag sinabi mong sexual preference, ano ang pinipili mo for your sexual preference, or in whom or who are you attracted to? Okay? Sex reassignment surgery, SRS. Surgical options that alter a person's biological sex. Biological sex na dapat pala. Okay. So, it is used by medical professionals to refer to a group of surgical options para lang pumabago ang person's biological sex. So, ang tawag po dyan, gender confirmation surgery, which is already considered by many. So, kumbaga nagpapa-sex change sila. Some prefer to different surgical procedures like top surgery or bottom surgery to discuss what type of surgery they are having without having to be more explicit. Pag sinabi mong top surgery, it includes the upper torso. Pag sinabi mong bottom surgery, hindi po yan puweta. Bottom is pambaba, which is trunk and down. From your trunk downwards. So, ibig sabihin, you want to change your sex organ. Pwede rin yung mga hair sa legs mo, patanggal mo rin. Kasi lalaki ka and you want to be a woman. So, laser surgery po yan. Tatanggal ng mga balahibo nyo sa legs. Medyo napapagod ako. Wait. Give me a break. I'll pause for a while. Okay, resuming. Straight. Dito na tayo sa straight. A person who is attracted to people who are not their same sex or gender. Kumbaga, heterosexual sila. Ang slang term for them is straight. Okay? Straight from the no. colloquial term for heterosexual. Third gender is a person who does not identify with either men or women but identifies with another gender. So, sila yung men, women, intersex, plus. Actually, men and women, and then the plus. Sila po yung third gender. Ang intersex kasi, yung problema is not gender, na, di ba? Ang problema kasi sa intersex, yung pipili sila. They have choices between the two. Wherein the third sex is they have many other choices. Okay. So, a person who does not identify with either man or woman but identifies as another gender. This gender category is used by societies na nagre-recognize po ng 3 or more genders, both in the modern times and historic times. And it also means different things to different people who use it as a way to move beyond the gender binary. When you say gender binary, limitation of identifying the sexes as men and women only. So, sila yung third sex or third gender. Next. Transgender. Okay, malapit na tayo tapos. Okay. Okay, dito na tayo sa trans. Marami po ito eh. Transgender, transman, transwoman, transphobia, transsexual, transvestite. Yung mga term na yan. Kung minsan makikita ninyo, the term trans, tapos may asterisk sa taas. Kasi marami pong, yung asterisk refers to a large group of term na pwede pong ikabit dun sa word na trans. Okay? Kasi meron po tayong term na transgender, transwoman, transman, transphobia, transsexual, transvestite. Okay. So, those terms, kapag sinabing trans, sige, ibig sabihin nito, transferring to the other side. Okay? Like, transgender. It's a person who lives as a member of a gender other than that assigned at birth based on their anatomical or biological sex. So, a transgender person may be transsexual or not. Pag sinabi mong transgender, tumawid ka lang kung ano yung gender roles ng isang babae. Like this one, the boy wears makeup, wears long hair, but we don't know if he is transsexual. When a person is transsexual, the person identifies psychologically as a gender or sex other than their assigned birth, but also has undergone transformation of their bodies through hormones and surgical procedures to match their inner sense of gender or sex. So, tandaan ninyo, ang person po na transsexual ay nakapagpalit na or they wish to palit or change their assigned sex at birth. Okay? So, when you say transsexual, nandun na yung may hormonal changes but hindi pa siya nag-undergone sa surgery of the sex organ, 'di ba? Merong ganun. So, transsexual pa rin po ang tawag sa kanila. Now, transwoman or transman is an identity label sometimes adopted by male to female transsexual or transgender people to signify that they are women while affirming their history as assigned male sex at birth. Kumbaga, being a trans man, limbawa dito, male to female transsexuals or transgender. When you say trans women, ang trans women ay sila yung lalaki sila na nag-transfer sila to being a woman, trans woman sila. Tapos yung trans men naman, babae sila na lumipat sa pagiging lalaki. So, best example nito yung pag-a-address natin ng sir or ma'am sa isang individual. Tulad kay Vice Ganda, right? On the TV show, nakikita natin minsan tinatawag siya ma'am, tinatawag din siyang sir, di ba? So, if you call Vice ganda, ma'am, you are respecting his being a trans woman. Kasi tulad yun sa t-shirt na sinasabi, trans women are women. So, dapat i-address mo siya as babae. So, kapag kayo naman po ay, yun, medyo kung minsan, nahihirapan ako sa mga students, no? Kasi, medyo, nandun pa po yung, yung hindi mo alam kung anong i-address, ma'am or sir sa isang tomboy, right? But, sometimes, if you see na boyish na po yung kanilang actuation, or they are very masculine, or perhaps, like, for example, Jake Cyrus ba yan? Jake Cyrus bang pangalan ni Charis Pimpenko? So, he's already a trans man. So, you address him as Mr. Right? So, trans man. If you have other information, yung mga madadagdag yung example ng mga celebrities who are trans men and trans women, I would appreciate that in the comment section. Next one is transphobia, the fear of discrimination against or hatred for trans people, the trans community, or gender ambiguity. Kumbaga, gender na maraming pagkakakilala. That's ambiguity. Kumbaga, kanina, homophobia, takot ka, or ayaw mong tawagin bakla, or nagagalit ka sa mga bakla, or on the same sex. Tulad, alimbawa, gay, most of that is addressed to homosexuality. But transphobia naman, homophobia yun. Transphobia is for those who have transferred gender or transferred as man to woman, or transsexual. Okay. Next one, or the last one, is the transvestite. I don't know how long na ng lecture natin, pero parang ramdam ko na yung pagod ng pagdidiscuss. Kapag face-to-face kasi class, may kasama akong mag-participate nito sa pag-explain ng mga members ng isang group na assigned dito. Actually, I'm using their PowerPoint. One of the best PowerPoints na present po ng mga bata during the previous years that I've taught this subject. Transvestite is a person who dresses as binary opposite gender expression or a cross-dresser that for any reasons, including relaxation, fun, or sexual gratification, hindi po sila dapat na ma-confuse with transsexual. Okay? Pag transvestite, ito yung term for the cross-dressers. Scientific term for the cross-dressers. Hermaphrodite, intersex naman po ang kanilang scientific term. Ano pa ba yung mga diniscuss natin kanina na may? Yun, heterosexual, ang slang term niya is straight. Right? Now, for your project. Okay, magkakaroon na po tayo ng project. After your midterms po ang iyong deadline ito. That would be the week after December 6 and 10. December 6 to 10. That's your midterm exam. After that, ito po ipapasa ninyo. I'd like you to watch these 2 short videos. Parents and their LGBT kids, and then LGBTQIA plus couples. So, meron po ditong SPG. Strict parental guidance. But I don't think there are minors here. And if there are minors here, was been accelerated, please inform me kung may minors pa tayo dito. Because some scenes include sex, swear words, and etc. So some words here are very sensitive, including sex relationships, as well as swear words. Kasi lie detector test po ito kapag sila po ay nakukuryente. Pag nagsisinungaling sila, ay nagugulat sila and they say swear words and etc. So, please be guided accordingly. Just those who are minors, sabihin nyo lang po kung kayo ay minor, and then refrain. Please stop from watching this one and just continue with this part. Parents and their LGBT kids. So, your project could be either of the two. Okay, LGBTQIA plus couples or parents and their LGBT kids. And I want you to follow the pattern of questions. So, your project is 50%. Guys, please. This is a group project. So, please participate. Hindi po kayo na po pwersang gumawa mag-isa. But if you want, you can come up with a, later I'll mention ay, pwede na 5 to 10 minutes. Okay. 5 to 10 minutes. Hindi ko napansin kung ilang minutes dun sa pinanood ko eh. But I want everybody to find interviewees. Kung sino po yung pwede nyong i-interview na parents with their LGBT kids or LGBTQIA plus couples. It can be you also kung gusto mong i-share yung information about your sexuality. Much better. That would be very much welcoming kasi we'll get to know you kasi mag-a-ask naman tayo ng permission. It will be with your consent kung ano yung gusto mong i-share lang, right? And I want you to search for people or parents with LGBTQIA kids or couples with the LGBTQ relationship. And then you use the same questions that they used in the video. So, ang first part po nito ng inyong project, ito na po yung magiging project nyo rin for finals. Okay? So, sa midterm, I want you to submit your choice. Either you are going to talk about parents and LGBT kids or LGBTQIA relationship. And then, I'd like you to make a brief introduction, 1 to 2 minutes siguro, of, or 3. Pero feeling ko, mga 10 minutes ang video ninyo. Depende po yan sa takbo ng questions. Pero, just make it short. Mga 10 to 15 minutes is fine with me. Not 5 minutes, napaka-ikli masyado ng 5, Kasi, there are like 5 to 6 members or 5 to 7 members in each group sa inyo. And I'd like you to interview at least 3. Minimum of 3, and then a maximum of 5 couples. Couples or parent-child na i-interviewin. 3 minimum and 5 maximum. Okay? Na mga i-interviewin. So, I'd like to meet the interviewees and the interviewers for the first 3 minutes ng video ninyo. Then, at finals, you will show the complete video with the questions na tinanong din po doon sa video. You ask the same questions. Now, you don't need to interview them face-to-face since this is still the pandemic times. But you can do it over the phone na kung gusto nilang nakatago lang yung identity nila. It's also fine. You edit the video in a way na blurred po yung mga mukha or faces if they want to have anonymous lang po yung source ng inyong speakers. Okay? So, if you have any further questions, feel free to post them on the GC group chat for everybody to know. So, alam ko po medyo, kahit ako po hindi ko po siya, inaral ko po ng matagal for additional info tong bawat terminology. So, I hope na you've learned something today. And I would be pleased if you share additional info that you know, kaysa po sa shinare ko lang. And then also, at the same time, if you have questions, feel free to post them also on YouTube or group chat. But dun po sa YouTube, may score po yung questions ninyo. I assure you that. Okay, for your Google Classroom, I'd like you to take a photo of your 30 terminologies or important terminologies from the discussion. And don't forget to write your name and date doon po sa taas ng inyong notes for me to know agad-agad kung para hindi rin po ma-share sa iba yung notes nyo. Okay? So, thank you very much and have a good day, and I hope you have enjoyed our lesson for today.